Kenneth couldn't wipe the smile off his face as he walked through the crowded airport terminal. After a week away on a business trip in South Africa, all he could think about was seeing his wife, Melissa. They'd been married for 5 years. 5 perfect, loving years. Or so he thought. He clutched the bouquet of red roses tightly in his hand, imagining the look on Melissa's face when she saw him standing at the door, earlier than expected. I can already picture her smile. She'd be so surprised. But fate had a different kind of surprise waiting for Kenneth. The city skyline glistened as Kenneth cruised through the streets in his sleek, black SUV. The sun was setting, casting golden hues across the sky. His heart raced with excitement. He replayed their last video call in his head, Melissa's radiant smile, her soft voice saying, "I miss you, baby. Come home soon." She had no idea. Tonight, he was coming home. After all the stress at work, this is what life is about, coming home to the woman you love. But love can be the deadliest illusion. The familiar house stood quietly in the twilight. The grand, modern design gleamed under the porch lights. Kenneth parked the car, grabbed the roses, and approached the door, grinning. He slipped the keys into the lock, but paused. The door was slightly ajar. Did she forget to lock it? Strange. Melissa never forgets. He pushed it open gently. The house was quiet, too quiet. "Melissa," he called softly, stepping inside. His footsteps echoed in the empty living room. No response. The TV was off. The lights were dim. Kenneth's smile faded. But then, faintly, he heard a voice. Upstairs. He crept toward the staircase, his heart pounding not with excitement anymore, but with unease. The voice was unmistakable. It was Melissa. But the warmth, the softness, gone. Her tone was cold, calculating. "I told you, everything is set," Melissa's voice whispered urgently. "He's coming home tonight. Yes, yes, act normal. By tomorrow, he'll be gone." Kenneth's body froze. The flowers slipped from his hand, landing on the floor soundlessly. "What did I just hear?" Melissa's voice continued upstairs, cold and deliberate. "Make sure the van is ready. No mistakes this time. I've waited long enough for his money. Once he's out of the way, it's ours." Kenneth's legs felt weak. His mind raced. His wife, plotting his kidnapping, his death. It didn't make sense, or maybe it made too much sense now. Kenneth backed away silently, his heart pounding against his ribs like a war drum. The laughter, the late-night talks, the vacations, the promises, all of it fake. Or was it always a lie? Tears welled up in his eyes, but anger, fierce, blinding anger, soon replaced them. "You picked the wrong man to betray, Melissa." The clock on the wall read 3:17 a.m., but sleep was impossible. Kenneth sat in the dark corner of his temporary apartment, eyes bloodshot, mind racing. The woman he loved, the woman he vowed to protect, was planning to betray him, and now he had to protect himself. Kenneth opened his laptop and began the search. He typed Melissa's full name, but nothing alarming appeared. Her social media, perfectly normal. But then, a thought struck him. Melissa wasn't her real name. Years ago, she mentioned it casually, how she legally changed her name after her parents' death. But why? Kenneth dug deeper, and what he found chilled him to the bone. The old mugshot stared back at him. There she was, Melissa, or rather, Melanie Obasi, arrested 10 years ago for fraud and conspiracy, but never convicted. Beside her in the grainy photo stood a man, rugged, dangerous looking. His name, Victor Kane, a known conman. Kenneth's blood ran cold. Victor, the voice from the phone call. Kenneth needed help. He couldn't go to the police yet, not without concrete proof. So, he called an old acquaintance, Charles, a private investigator known for handling discreet situations. Within the hour, Charles agreed to dig into Melissa's real history. Days turned into a week. Kenneth stayed in the shadows, watching his own home from a distance. He saw Melissa laughing, grocery shopping, playing the perfect wife. But at night, strange men visited the house. The same black SUV parked nearby. Victor was always close, but never visible. Kenneth's rage grew, so did his fear. The call from Charles came at 2 a.m. "It's worse than you thought. Victor and Melissa. They've been conning people together for years. She marries wealthy men. He stages accidents or kidnappings. They split the money." Kenneth's stomach turned. His marriage, his love, all of it, a scam. And now, they wanted him gone. The next morning, Kenneth returned to the house, quietly observing. But something was different. Melissa's car, gone. The house, empty. A note stuck to the door. "Business trip. Back in 3 days. Love you." It was a lie. She was making her final move. Charles sent more intel. Victor booked a room at a shady motel outside town. Kenneth knew they were setting the stage. His kidnapping, his disappearance, was imminent. But Kenneth had other plans. Plans that would expose them both. Kenneth stood before his house, the morning sun casting long shadows across the driveway. His heart thundered in his chest, but his face was calm. The perfect husband, the clueless fool. He had to play this role, or he wouldn't live long enough to expose them. Melissa returned that afternoon, suitcase in hand, her lips curling into that familiar, deceptive smile. "Baby, I missed you," she whispered, embracing him. Kenneth hugged her back, but inside, he wanted to scream. He could almost feel the knife she was ready to stab in his back. Over the next few days, Kenneth played the part. Candlelit dinners, sweet goodnights. But everywhere he turned, shadows lingered. A suspicious car parked down the street. Strangers walking past the house, lingering too long. The feeling of eyes watching. With Charles' help, Kenneth installed hidden cameras throughout the house. Every whispered phone call, every late-night conversation, captured. Melissa spoke to Victor often. They were close, closer than Kenneth dared imagine. Charles delivered more evidence. Photos of Victor and Melissa together at a secret location. Bank transactions linking them. The plan was clear: kidnap Kenneth, stage his disappearance, drain his accounts. The perfect crime, or so they thought. Kenneth worked with the police, carefully crafting the trap. The next staged business trip, the supposed night of his kidnapping. Hidden officers, surveillance, backup ready. This time, they would catch Melissa and Victor red-handed. But Kenneth underestimated them. That evening, as he left the police station, he spotted Victor across the street, watching him. Victor smirked and vanished into the crowd. Kenneth's stomach twisted. They knew. The house no longer felt like home. Kenneth's every move was under surveillance. Not his cameras, theirs, his phone, his car, even his apartment. Compromised. Paranoia gripped him. The trap he set was turning into a cage. A note appeared on his windshield the next morning. "Step back, or disappear for real." No signature, just fear. Kenneth clenched the paper, eyes burning with fury. But he wouldn't back down. Not now, not ever. Kenneth stood in front of the mirror, staring at his reflection. Dark circles under his eyes. Jaw clenched, but determination burned within. Tonight, it ends. With the police in position, and Charles monitoring every move, Kenneth was ready to spring the trap, or so he believed. Kenneth followed through with Melissa's plan. A fake business trip, an isolated cabin outside the city. Everything was staged, the perfect setting for his kidnapping. But hidden cameras, plainclothes officers, and Charles waited in the shadows. They just had to show up. Melissa arrived, concern painted on her face, but her eyes, cold, calculating. "You sure you'll be okay here alone?" she asked sweetly. Kenneth forced a smile. "I'll be fine, love." Melissa laughed, or so he thought, but hidden cameras caught everything. Minutes later, Victor slipped through the back door. Kenneth stepped out of the shadows, gun in hand. Victor froze. Melissa's eyes widened, fury, fear, and hatred flashing across her face. Police officers flooded the room. But Victor didn't come quietly. Victor lunged at an officer. Gunfire erupted. Chaos. Melissa screamed. Kenneth ducked behind a table, heart racing. When the dust settled, Victor lay bleeding on the floor. Alive, but barely. Handcuffed, Melissa finally spoke. Tears streamed down her face, but her voice, ice cold. "I married you for money, but somewhere along the line, I hated you for being so perfect. The love, the marriage, the promises, lies, all of it. Victor was rushed to the hospital under police custody. Melissa, arrested. The police praised Kenneth's bravery, but his heart shattered. The house was empty now. The bed, cold. The dreams, dead.